This big truck right here was in the movie Fate of the Furious, driven by Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. Fun fact, this vehicle right here in the movie is supposed to be set in New York. However, those scenes were filmed in Cleveland, Ohio, one of which I did the filming locations on not too long ago. I'll post a link in the description below. You can check out that video as well and see where this truck drove in the Fate of the Furious. And now we're getting into one of my favorite areas, the Fast and the Furious. I definitely love it. I've seen these cars before at the Gatlinburg Car Museum. I've actually sat inside that one. I don't know if it's the same one, because with Fast and the Furious cars, we have things called hero cars and stunt cars. Stunt cars obviously have damage. Hero cars are the more cleaner, non-busted up cars, so I would assume that these are probably hero cars. So this was Letty's car, the Jensen Interceptor from Fast 6, Dom's Dodge Daytona from Fast 6 that they both race in the streets of London. See? Right there. I want to bring your attention over here really quick to this poster, because I'm really kind of emotional about this, because it has autographs of the characters on it. We got Jordana Brewster, Dwayne Johnson's autograph, Vin Diesel's autograph, Michelle Rodriguez's autograph. I don't see one for Tyrese, but I want to show you. As a big of a Fast and Furious fan, I have never in my life seen Paul Walker's autograph until now. He said, "Thanks, Paul Walker." That poster has got to be worth quite a bit of money just because his signature alone. I mean, they're all pretty famous and they don't really do autographs or sign much for anything, but that's definitely very, very cool. Too Fast poster, I have one of those. Tokyo Drift poster, that's pretty cool. And of course, an information poster talking about Letty's Interceptor here. We're gonna go right over here to this glass case. But first, we're gonna make a stop right here. He also drives the Daytona at the end of the film during the tank battle. Yep. The spoiler on the back was custom made, but it's still a very cool Dodge Daytona. Very cool. Okay, so now we're going over here to this giant case. Wow. I want that Supra. That's an RC car Supra. I actually had this at one point in time. I'm gonna have to see if I can find some of these cars. That green little car, I definitely had that. Dodge Charger, had that too. Slapjack Supra from Too Fast, Too Furious. I still have that. I don't have the 124 of that. Nice little keychain right there, and some other, it's like the Supra, and then a model kit of Slapjack Supra from Too Fast as well. And there's a little green car back there as well. Fast 5, one of the original photos between a drug lord and a relentless federal agent. That's cool. So these are the engines right here of the Charger Daytona. It's a 6.2 liter and Letty's Interceptor. Oh, I like it. Fast and Furious 7. The original piece of the black Charger RT driven by Vin Diesel in Fast and Furious films. So this is one of the original pieces of the car. Nice. I like these signs up on the wall. I kind of want this just for myself. But yeah, I love this Fast and the Furious stuff. And this museum here has more Fast and the Furious cars, so we're gonna check out more of them. Literally, I just said that and I turned around, and this is crew cab flatbed used in Fast 4 for the gas, when they are robbing the gas trucks in the beginning of the film, that they all were trying to steal gas from the gas trucks. And I believe this was Leo and Santos's car. Yeah, see him right there on top of it, the back of it. So Fast 4 right here, everybody. Yeah, Here we got some photos of it in the film. And then it's a little after the scene, but yeah, fast forward. Here we go with more Fast and the Furious cars, ladies and gentlemen. This is Jesse's Jetta from the very first Fast and the Furious, driven by Chad Lindbergh, whom of which I have actually met. But this Jetta specifically wasn't in the race war scene. However, this one was at the Toretto house that got shot up by Johnny Train. You can see the bullet holes all along the side there. See? Brake calipers. Fake brake calipers. But yeah, it's actually really cool to see this car in person. I've seen one at Fuel Fest, but this one is the actual screen used Jetta. And here we have Dom's Charger from the very first Fast and the Furious, the ending race between him and Brian. This Charger was the one that he raced in, and if you look, you can see how mangled and destroyed it is. This is the Charger that flipped at the end when he raced Brian in the Supra. It's all crooked right there, dented up, top of it's dented up, and of course there's a fake blower on top. Dented all up the sides over here. Right there, you can see. I'm just gonna watch it for a second and see. There it is. They used a ramp on the other side of that semi when he hit it. See, right there. It's right here. It's where he skid. The tire. I had to put a new tire on, obviously, to get it in here. But it's cool to see one of the damaged cars from the film. And I'm not gonna lie, Too Fast, Too Furious was one of my favorite films of the series. So this right here is the Eclipse Spider, driven by Tyrese Gibson, aka Roman Pierce. And it's also in the photo shoots and as well as Ludacris's Act a Fool music video. Look at the paint job on this thing. Super sparkly. Well, it's hard to tell on video, but you can kind of see when I change, kind of pan up a little bit, how sparkly it is. I don't remember there being decals on the window, but it's still pretty cool to see Roman's Eclipse here. I actually have this car in 1/18 scale, so seeing it in person is very, very cool. There is a couple Furious 7 cars here. We have the Camaro Z28, also driven by Tyrese Gibson, aka Roman Pierce, when they are going after the motorcade, holding Ramsey. Later on in the movie, we have Roman, Tej, and Ramsey in this car trying to escape from Mosey Jaconde, driving around the streets of Los Angeles that actually also does get blown up, and it's a 1987 Chevy Caprice, screen used. But right over here is something very interesting. This 370Z was seen in Fast 5. Giselle can be seen driving it when the warehouse scene, when they're testing out cars to get around the tight corners and stuff. However, this car actually belongs to Paul Walker himself. He has a company called Always Evolving Performance Shop, and this is his actual personal car. So check it out. There's a photo of him sitting in the car. That's his actual personal car. That is freaking awesome. And also, we have Dom's Charger from Fast 5. That thing is beautiful. Love the paint job, love the rims. It is freaking awesome. Here's another interesting little tidbit of information. This right here is Dom's 72 Plymouth GTX from the movie Fate of the Furious, the 8th installment of the Fast and Furious films. This car, the scenes that were filmed in New York were actually filmed in Cleveland, Ohio, as I said earlier with the car outside. So this car was actually seen in Cleveland as well, because when they were filming Fate of the Furious, I actually went up there and hung out with a few friends, and they showed me where they were filming at, and there was a parking lot that had the cars and extra cars, and actually their star trailers too, like Tyrese, Vin Diesel, and Dwayne Johnson's trailers that they were in. This GTX, I actually have a photo of the GTX somewhere, but those scenes were filmed in Cleveland because Cleveland stood in for New York a lot. Cleveland, it's cheaper to film in Cleveland, so it's pretty cool to see that this car was also at where I did another filming locations video at. But I don't care what anybody says, this car is absolutely beautiful. And also the scenes. Now see, this is one of the hero cars. The stunt cars, like I said earlier, are the ones that get destroyed pretty much. And they do like Mick rigs, and they attach cables and stuff to the front, underneath, and to the side. So there's nothing wrong with this car. So I would assume that this is one of the hero cars, but also the scene where they're all at the intersection and they all they shoot the little grappling hooks into Dom's car, and as you can see, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing in the front, back, or the side. So, but that is probably one of the best scenes of that movie, when they try to hold Dom off from going, and the wheels are spinning and on fire and stuff. But definitely a beautiful car, that is for sure. Oh, here we have another Fast and the Furious car. Fast 9. This is a Chevy Nova driven by Michelle Rodriguez, Letty Ortiz. The finale of the film, and crew is using magnets to strip an armored cargo trailer. So that is Letty's car. That's awesome. But up here, Fate of the Furious, we have a Subi BRZ, and along with the GTX just over there, this specific car was in Cleveland as well when they were chasing down Dom because he has the nuclear launch codes. Driven by Scott Eastwood, aka Mr. Little Nobody, his car. Another Fast and the Furious car. That's awesome. So the people that work here are very nice, and they're allowing me to sit, Tyrese, in Tyrese's car from Too Fast, Too Furious. Now this is insane. We're gonna get in and check it out. Oh man, this is cool. Little NOS buttons here. I've been in movie cars before, but this is freaking sweet. Man. Oh, I'm geeking out so much right now. This is awesome. Guns, murders, and crooked cops? I was made for this, bruh. I'm gonna be honest, sitting inside of one of the cars that I grew up with is definitely very nostalgic for me, but so cool. And then just imagine Brian driving right there, and then Roman lifts up his finger. He flips off Brian. Brian goes out and does his thing. Yeah, Rob, how you like those apples? He goes, that's Brian. That's the school of Brian O'Connor's driving right there, baby. Show off. I could literally quote this movie back and forth. Oh, this is so cool. This is awesome. Just want to hit the NOS and just go. Especially racing the Challenger, which right there's a Charger, obviously, but the Challenger from Too Fast, driven by the Fabio. Man, this is so cool. Oh man, I'm geeking out. I'm about to sit in Dom's Charger from the first Fast. This is so cool. So here we are inside of Dom's Charger from the first Fast and the Furious, the final race. And as you can see, there is literally nothing to this car. It's just a shell. The original gauges there. Steering wheel. Oh man. This is like a dream come true, honestly. We got a roll cage. Was this one of the original rims? Dude, seriously, like, this is like one of the coolest things ever. I'm about to sit in Paul Walker's personal 370Z as seen in Fast 5. So here I am sitting in Paul Walker's personal 370Z, also seen in Fast 5. And the tour guide just informed me that this car was also in Fast 6, one of the London scenes. So sitting behind the wheel of one of Paul Walker's personal cars is definitely very emotional for me. This is, not only is it awesome, but it's just really crazy experience just in itself, because, you know, Paul Walker was my hero growing up as well. So sitting in his personal car, very emotional. Up next, Dom's Monster from Fast 5 as well. So this is inside Dom's Monster Charger from Fast 5. Oh, I wonder what it's like to drive one of these things. You know how cool that would be? But even though I'm unable to drive one, it's still very nostalgic to sit in one of the Fast and the Furious cars. Here's the back there. This is nuts. All right, here we go. Sitting in Dom's GTX from Fate of the Furious. Here we are inside of the GTX. Unfortunately, this thing doesn't have 5,000 horsepower like in the film. But check this out. It's a NOS bottle. And another fun fact, the tour guide just told me that this is Keanu Reeves' drift car that he learned to drift in for John Wick Part 4. How interesting is that they chose this badass car for Keanu Reeves to drift in? Man, that's awesome. All right, here we go with me being emotional again. This is a glass case holding a bunch of Fast and the Furious stuff. So we're gonna go through this one by one. Now, Fast and the Furious, which was originally called Redline. They didn't like that name, so they changed it to the Fast and the Furious, which we all know and love today. Signed by director Rob Cohen and Paul Walker. Right here to the right is a Fast and Furious 7 clapper, director James Wan, also signed by Paul Walker. Right there, rest in peace, Paul Walker. So this map right here is from the scene when Brian and Mia are in the car and they're tracking down Dom's location when he is near Coachella, California, when Dom and his crew go off and hijack the final semi. And if I remember right, Dom's phone number is 323-555-6439. And this is a yearbook, Sun Valley, California. And right there in the beginning, there's a spot that says, "What do you want to be remembered for from high school?" And there's a lot of different names. And Paul Walker is about halfway down, and he said, "My royal coolness." Let's see if we can find his photo on there. I'm looking. No. Is he over on this side? Yep. He's over here Right side, third one down on the right. Right there. That is awesome. Here we have his thing on his chair that he would have sat in. Brian O'Connor's police badge. Oh man, this stuff is seriously making me emotional right now. The authentic Nash bottles and one of the pedals in the car and Mr. Arizona license plate. But over here, even more, Paul Walker's shirt, pants, and shoes from Too Fast, Too Furious, the ending of the movie, as seen right there with him and Roman Pierce. So he actually wore that shirt and his shoes. Over here on this side, we have more Paul Walker Fast and the Furious stuff. There is the award with Ludacris's Act of Fool from the Too Fast, Too Furious soundtrack. We have a photo of Chad Lindbergh signed. That is Jesse's wallet from the film. And you can see there's a photo of him at a booth signing stuff. Fast and Furious watch. There's a hat, water bottle, a shot up Jetta signed by Chad Lindbergh himself. An Eclipse, actually still have that. Now this piece here is actually really interesting. So in the scene where Johnny Tran and Jesse are racing at Race Wars in the first film, they actually used the black Honda Civics to film it, and the seats were different, so this actually goes over the seat to make it look like it was Jesse's car. But if you go behind the scenes and then you watch behind the scenes stuff, it shows that Jesse didn't actually use his Jetta to race. Fun fact. License plate cover. Fast and the Furious 6. This is a jersey dress worn by Devin Aoki in Too Fast, Too Furious.
Those are her shoes.
And that is the license of Lewis Thomas from the movie Joyride, Paul Walker's character. Candy cane. Also, being on the topic of Too Fast, Too Furious right here, we have screen-used outfits worn by Eva Mendes, her character Monica from Too Fast, Too Furious. Very cool.